Hello and welcome back to another episode of Half a Clue Movie Review. I was trying to think of some kind of joke to start this episode, but I have nothing. So if everyone could just pretend like I made a humorous reference.
Get your shoes off the floor.
Oh, yeah. We are both wearing shoes on the floor. So I guess there's that.
These are slippers, all right? These are inside wear.
I mean, she was wearing like sandals and he still got mad about
Sandals
that.
are different than slippers. I mean, sandals go outside. Slippers are meant for just the indoors.
I don't know. I wear my slippers outside. Like,
that's crazy behavior.
It is. I'm insane.
Are you a no shoes household now?
No, I don't fucking care.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm Blake. I'm joined by
Jason.
Miles.
Ron is absent, unfortunately. We're really going to see how much of the backbone of the podcast he is today.
He's a lot of the backbone.
We don't have any clue today.
He's kind of our expert.
We're like a quarter clue if we're lucky right now.
Yeah, I think like eighth of a clue maybe.
And probably something around that. It's not good, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah. It is Jason's pick of the week, our very own Martin Brisby. Jason, what's your movie pick? What do you want to watch? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to discuss?
I chose Matchstick Men.
Oh my God. Fun. And why did you pick that movie?
Because I like it.
Well, you gave a better answer last week when you talked about it.
Because we, I don't know, we've been shitting on Ridley Scott recently, and this is such a weird kind of Ridley Scott movie. It's not something you think about when you think about
it. It did not seem like a Ridley Scott
movie. It's the most un-Ridley Scott movie that I've seen. It's not, it's not Alien. It's not Gladiator.
It's not an epic, which I think is what he's known for, really.
Yeah, like American Gangster, stuff like that.
Mm. It was definitely a Nicolas Cage movie, though.
Yes. Perfect casting. I couldn't imagine it differently. Before we get too into this, well, our history man is absent. Jason, do you know the history of this film?
I know it was made in 2003.
By Ridley Scott.
Starring Nicolas Cage and Sam Rockwell. And that's it.
Okay.
Fascinating. Moving on.
Yeah.
I guess we should just talk about it. What did you guys think, Miles? I think for you and me, this is both our first time viewing, right?
Yeah, I thought we were watching Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy for some reason.
Why did you think that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I came over to, when it was time to watch the movie, I came over to Miles' house and he was asleep and I woke him up and I was like, "You ready to watch Matchstick Men?" And he was like, "Oh, I thought we were watching Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy." And I was like, "Were you so asleep that you thought it was November?" Because I remember you had briefly talked about discussing that for November.
I still want to recommend that at some point.
Maybe that's why I thought that's what we were going to watch.
Ago, though.
That was in November.
I don't know why.
You were so asleep that you thought it was November.
Yeah, maybe. Did I fall asleep for an entire year again?
Maybe.
Miles went comatose again.
Yeah, low blood sugar,
Well, what did you think of this film, Miles? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions?
Overall, I thought it was a really good Nicolas Cage movie. I love seeing Crazy Nick. It's probably my favorite side of Nicolas Cage.
He doesn't get too over the top in this one.
I don't know. There are points where
he
reaches
very like peak Cage, but I think for the most of it,
But I think that's good also because like when you get to like peak Cage for an entire film, like you do something like Face Off or what's that other one where he's just utterly insane in it?
Like all of them? I don't know.
Well, no. So the weird thing about Nicolas Cage, he's got a very large range as an actor, but it's all like the same person in that range. I don't know how to describe it. It's like
he's pretty. I mean, there's other movies where he's a little more.
His crazy is always the same crazy. No. But what I'm saying is his crazy is always the same crazy. His subdued is always the same subdued. But he has a lot of range.
I want to say I've seen him do different types of crazy before. I think, but
you can always tell it's Nicolas Cage doing it, right? You always get that feeling.
I mean,
like
he's a very distinct person.
Yeah, it's very distinctive. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, so I thought it was a good movie, and I think that he did a really good job of portraying the different levels of craziness that he was at throughout the film, because when the movie started, he was taking PCP, I believe, every day.
Was it PCP?
I'm pretty sure it was PCP. I was looking later, and people were saying that, yeah, he was just getting PCP to stay like, normal,
Really?
which that's insane.
I don't know if crazy is the correct term. He was agoraphobic, although the fake therapist.
He's very
he
OCD, I think is the
OCD is the good
it
way
was
to
very
put
much
it, yeah.
OCD, but at the same time, he did have like tics and stuff like that, and he was not all right in the head.
No, he's very he's very neurotic. He's got tons of phobias, agoraphobia. He's very obsessive compulsive. He does a good job portraying that, I thought.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the other interesting thing about this film is at the end of the film, I don't want to spoil this for anybody, so close your ears right now. But at the end of the film, after he gets scammed by, his basically best friend and partner, that did the best thing for him. Like the whole art of the scam literally fixed him. Right? It helped save him from just being in this downward spiral.
Let's save the ending talk for later because I have a lot of thoughts on it.
I don't know. I thought that it left it with a very thoughtful ending where you had to think about it a lot. Where you're like, man, like who really was the bad guy? Like and even though they did bad things, I mean, it
all
was
of them,
good at the end. Yeah,
all of them. And
the
none
characters
of them
are all like pretty complicated. They're
all
deep
very complicated,
and rich characters.
And the daughter did an amazing job.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was a very believable character.
I don't think I've ever seen her, or maybe I'm sure I have, but I don't recognize her from anything.
She was in Drag Me to Hell.
I've never seen that, but I want to. I've heard that movie hates its protagonist.
I need to watch that with a different eye. I was not aware of Sam Raimi's horror style when I watched it. It came out when I was like 17. But yeah, I want to rewatch it because I was just like, this is just fucking weird. But I think I'd like it if I were to watch it now.
Alison Lohman.
Alison Lohman. She's also in Big Fish.
movie
She's in Gamer. She retired from acting, actually. I think I read that.
Gotcha.
Gamer. You guys see Gamer?
Yeah, I've seen Gamer.
Michael C. Hall was the villain. It's like the only other thing besides from Dexter he's ever done.
But no, she was great. She did a really good job of playing a 14-year-old girl.
How old was she actually when they shot this? Ron would know.
Yeah, wait.
Can we do call a friend?
She was born in 1979, so she was 24.
So
yeah, she was believable.
That's
as
a question I have is, was she actually supposed to be 14 in the film, or was she supposed to be a 20-year-old pretending to be a 14-year-old?
Yeah, I think she was supposed to be like older pretending.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you kind of felt that in her character. Like, she seemed very strange throughout the film. Like, you could obviously tell there was something going on with her, and that, he probably would have picked up on it too if he hadn't been so messed up on drugs and shit.
Yeah. Or like, I think it's just the fact that he's so enamored by the fact that he had a daughter. His blinders went on and his like defenses turned on.
Maybe.
I mean, also people are just weird. I don't think it's too out of the normal for someone to just be kind of strange.
When I first started,
I think so. I think it's pretty evident where she like, there are moments in the film where she like kind of pushes against him, like just to like keep the scam going and like manipulate him in ways. But good.
See, like the thing is, when I was watching it, I think I turned to Blake and I asked him this question, like during the film. I asked, is she real? Because like, I thought that the twist was going to be in the film that, at least for like a little bit in the beginning of the film, that the daughter didn't actually exist and she was kind of all in his head.
I get that,
right? And
specifically at the point in which you said it, because like up until that point, the only person she had spoken to was Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And then like 2 seconds after you said that, she starts talking to other people. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
I called the actual twist very early on. I want to make this brief because I want to get back on track.
Sorry.
But, I called the twist early on, and I was telling you why yesterday, but I had forgotten why. Actually, it wasn't the pills. It's when he's talking to the psychiatrist the fake psychiatrist. The fake psychiatrist is like, oh, your wife doesn't want to talk to you, but your daughter does. But in the same shot, he's playing like chess with himself, I guess, and making a move.
It's a villain shot.
So yeah, in my head, I was instantly like, oh no, this is all fake. Like I don't know, just that shot of him, because as he's like doing this action, he is moving the chess piece. I'm like, okay, so this is all fake.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back on track. If you guys want to talk about performances, though, which we kind of were, I think something that's kind of interesting to note, because you already brought this up with the daughter, Miles, but something that's kind of cool is every character is almost playing multiple roles, right?
Yeah.
Because Nicolas Cage, he plays himself, multiple people, depending on what scam he's trying to run. Obviously, the daughter plays his daughter and her real self at the end. Same deal with Sam Rockwell. Like we see him play, like much like Nick Cage, we see him play himself and multiple other character types.
Even though it's more Sam Rockwell's character is a little bit more muted in terms of the changes, I think, where he's kind of always playing himself. It's the same kind of guy.
He's not as good as Nicolas Cage is.
Well, no, it's just it's not as significant of a change from his normal personality and who he normally is to when he's actually like doing the con.
Well, I think it's because Nick Cage's normal is fucking
like
staying inside and cleaning everything all day, every day. Like that's a huge jump between him and like the businessman that he's portraying,
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell is just kind of like this slimy guy all the time.
I really like Sam Rockwell's performance.
No, he's awesome.
Sam Rockwell's always
I know
awesome.
It's a meme, like Sam Rockwell's underrated. But he kind of fucking
yeah,
is.
Who cares?
Like
He's
really good in everything he's done, and I feel like he doesn't get enough recognition.
If they made Circle Jerk's gonna have a field day with you.
Whatever.
I thought Sam Rockwell might be, aside from Nicolas Cage, my favorite performance in this. I don't know. I just really enjoyed watching him.
Mm-hmm. I thought that the daughter's performance was really good. Like she just, I don't know. She ran away with it. Like her character definitely had like the most going for it, other than Nicolas Cage's. I think but she also did get the most screen time, other than Nicolas Cage. I believe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Although it took a while for her to get into the movie. I didn't remember that. I thought she was in it like pretty quickly.
She came in like 20 minutes in.
Yeah, 25 minutes. It was a long time.
Well, I mean, they really had to develop, the problems that Nicolas Cage had in order for it to be effective.
Yeah.
Right? It's...
I love him that first scam they're running. The thing with these whack jobs is I love Nicolas Cage. We should do a Nicolas Cage a month soon. I'd be so down.
We could start it now.
No, it's the middle of the month. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, we could.
Do you guys want to talk about what might have influenced this movie?
Sure.
So
what do you think?
Well, I've never actually seen it, but have you guys ever seen Paper Moon?
No, I have not. It's on my watch list.
Mine too. My fucking 8,000 page watch list. It's from what I understand, it's about a con man who I think his daughter comes to visit him. So clearly that was probably an influence here. None of us have seen that, really. Ron would have seen that.
Yeah.
Probably. Is there any other movies you think might have influenced this?
That's a tough one. I
it's
don't
been a
really
while
watch.
Since I've seen this.
I don't
movie.
really watch con movies that much.
Have you guys seen
They're
The
fun.
Sting?
No.
The Sting? No, I haven't.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Robert Redford, Paul Newman. But I can't really say anything. That's the only one that came to my mind that I've seen, but it's been so long. My mom made me watch that when I was like 10.
While kind of like on the subject of like similar movies, it's not a similar movie, but I was just thinking about how much more this felt like a 90s indie movie than it does like a Ridley Scott movie. Like, I don't know, like with the music and everything, which was a huge driving factor of this movie, by the way. I loved how the soundtrack was kind of like reactive with what was actually going on, which is something I don't think is in enough movies.
Is that the hallmark of a good director, though, that they can make it seem like when they break out into a different genre, right, and a different style of filmmaking, they're able to not be themselves
Yeah,
to a certain extent. Yeah.
Look at Kubrick, like the most famous American director, probably. Like he's all over the place, right? A horror movie, a sci-fi movie, a fucking period piece drama, multiple period piece dramas, a dystopian future. Like I think that is
Comedy.
kind of comedy. So I think that is kind of an important trait to have, is to be able to do things so different. But this just feels so drastically different.
Yeah, I mean, Ridley Scott is pretty like diverse in his films. The difference is this feels small. All of his other
that's
movies
a good way to put it.
feel big.
So where is this in terms of his cinematography?
What do you mean?
Like
Or his filmography?
yeah, filmography.
Oh
Sorry.
my God.
Well, this
I
was
can't use right words, I'm
2003,
sorry.
so this was Gladiator was 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the closest
I mean,
film I can think
yeah,
of.
but like before that, had he really done much? Sorry, I don't know too much about Ridley Scott.
Oh, he did Blade Runner. He did
Blade
Alien.
Runner. Oh, he did Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, no, this is a steep departure from both Gladiator and Blade Runner.
sucks.
Yeah.
What?
And
I said
Alien.
Blade
yeah.
Runner sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Eh,
You're an idiot.
I don't know.
It's a
I think that
boring
the new Blade Runner sucks, but the old one I love. It's
I don't have my backup here with me this week, so we're not going to go there.
okay. We can't argue about something just because Blake's going to get beaten in an argument. It's okay. Yeah, he doesn't like getting beaten, guys. It's,
Look.
that's how he lives life.
Okay, so real quick, I want to go through Ridley Scott's run here in the early 2000s. It's Gladiator, Hannibal, Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men, Kingdom of Heaven,
Okay, so like,
A
you know
Good
what?
Year, American Gangster.
You ever seen American Gangster?
Yes, I think I saw it in theaters.
Kingdom of Heaven. I know that film.
It's like
I've never seen it.
medieval
Yeah.
battle film.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
But no, this and Black Hawk Down potentially feel a little bit similar, I guess. They're more grungy to the ground, modern, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like it maybe it's just this is how he's able to portray modern times
Yeah.
and
maybe.
his style for that. You know,
But,
mean,
but
other movies-
again, like Black Hawk Down is a very big movie.
And,
yes.
And if you want to
Yeah.
talk about like modern American Gangster is like what, set in the 80s or some shit, or maybe a little further back. Maybe it's like the 70s. I haven't watched it in like 20 years, but same deal. American Gangster, very, very large, over the top kind of story. This is like just, two dudes who are con men, which I like. I like the smaller scale.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting.
1968.
1968.
Oh, one question for you, Blake. So I already talked to Jason about this. So the ex-wife and the grocery store lady, did you find them like similar looking at all? Because I was confused for a second.
It didn't confuse me, so I guess not.
Okay.
With the grocery store girl, though, I told this to Jason. I was like, so what did he tell her? Like, because wouldn't she eventually be like, hey, who is that like teenage girl that you had along with you? Did he tell her everything? I mean, I guess that would be a
He
good
probably
Yeah.
did.
I think that's like the point of his character.
As he's come clean.
Yeah.
He's turned a new leaf.
One thing that the fake psychiatrist says is like your neurosis is small time, like it's your conscience, right? And if you notice, like when he's feeling good throughout the movie, you think it's his meds, but you find out his meds are bullshit. That he's perfectly fine. And then when like shit hits the fan with his work, that's when he gets all fucking like, ticky and
Though I will say, I haven't done any medical research into this, but so that was menopause medications,
yeah,
right? So
it's soy.
like the thing is, it could have been masking his withdrawals, right? Or I don't know if like it's effective in that. I haven't looked it up, but like it could have been doing something, right? Because if he was on PCP, like what I thought he was, then it could have been helping him potentially.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You guys want to talk about the ending?
Sure.
'Cause I do. Is Sam Rockwell the bad guy? Because there is a
That's what I was saying
there's
earlier.
I
yeah,
know, but I wanted to save
Yeah.
it until the end of the
Oh,
episode.
I'm
as
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Jeez,
We just don't-
already towards the end?
We just I mean, we can go back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know. We need Ron. Ron, if you're listening,
Ron needs to manage this better
need
for us.
you.
Yeah, we're three idiots talking about films right now. It's
we could be four idiots talking about films, but one of the idiots knows how to structure it properly.
Yeah, exactly. He even gave us an outline for this, but
we were he gave us an outline that we thought he filled out, and then once we started recording, we're like, oh shit,
We couldn't even do our homework.
I know, right?
I mean,
It's awful.
we watched the movie. Anyways, but something I wanted to talk about in the ending. Throughout the movie, Sam Rockwell constantly tells Nick Cage that he loves him, that he looks up to him. As his protege, he's very appreciative. The
But
thing
he's
is,
also
scamming him.
constantly. Well, he's also constantly talking about how unhappy he is,
Yes.
and how like broke he is.
Yeah.
I noticed that on this watch. Like it's constant. He's always just like, yeah, well, I'm fucking broke. Like the whole movie.
And like, his apartment like isn't as nice. Like Nick Cage has like the really nice house.
Yeah.
And then we see Sam Rockwell. He's like eating like out of like a big plastic bowl, probably like mac and cheese or some shit. The thing is I kind of believe him. Like I don't think he like is this like a crazy he knows it's gonna help Nicolas Cage too?
I'm suspicious of that, but I will say one thing is that it follows completely Nicolas Cage's moral code that he has, right?
Yeah.
That he doesn't take from anybody who's not trying to, make money off him, right? And he thinks that, if you get scammed, you're a sucker, right? So at the end of the day, I don't think that he's really, like, you never really see him be too upset.
No, it solves it solves all his problems.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's that moment where the big reveal where we find out he doesn't even have a daughter, and like the ex-wife goes, "Are you okay?" And he kind of like for the first time looks like he's at peace. He goes, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Which is part of the thing that confused me because the ex-wife wasn't credited in the movie apparently. So I was like trying to look up, the ex-wife, who played her, like trying to double check and see if her, the cashier, were the same person and who it was at the end. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? So yeah, it
Justice
confused me.
for that actress. I'm sorry you never got your due. We see you.
Yeah, I mean, she had one scene.
She's on IMDb, but she is listed as uncredited.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe she wasn't in SAG or something.
Ron would know.
Yeah.
Ron would have had a binder on this stuff.
Yeah. Jeez, man, we might need to do an addendum when Ron gets back.
Another point to what you were saying too. There's also a great line where he says to his daughter, his fake daughter, he says, "Never, for God's sake, make sure the person you're conning isn't conning you," which exactly happens to him. But yeah, so what do you think, Jason? I want your perspective on this. Was Sam Rockwell, while being an asshole, also kind of trying to do what's right for Nicolas Cage? Because I had that thought early on. I had the thought, is this all like going to be a con to like make him better for some reason?
I don't know if that was the intention of Sam Rockwell, but I don't think he's a bad guy in the same way I don't think Nick Cage's character is a bad guy. Like, he was Nick Cage's protege. Nick Cage, throughout the movie, or at a certain point in the movie, decides he wants to get out, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. And so I saw it as like a passing of the torch kind of thing.
But also, you really got to look at it from, the psychiatrist, right? The psychiatrist was in on it.
He actually helped him, though.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? So if you look at it from that perspective, right? So
maybe
setting the whole thing up, like getting it in motion, it only works if he knows, hey, this psychosis is bullshit, right? It only really works to get it to that line if he knows, hey, you know what, this guy's not really like crazy, so I can set it up. I can get the PCP dealer to leave town and set it up so that he goes sees this psychiatrist that I sent him to, right? And the psychiatrist is going to give him, these placebo meds, right? And he's going to get straightened out, and we're going to have all this happen, right? And he knew what was going to happen from the beginning. So he might have known that it would help him, but is that the reason that he did it was to help him, or even part of the reason? I don't think so.
This goes along with Jason's. All the characters are very complicated in this, or you can really read into a lot of them, which I appreciate. Because I don't know, because like it's hard to say. What does Nicolas Cage say? Have you ever pissed blood?
Oh yeah, like when he's having the freak out at the pharmacy because he's out of
great.
drugs, it's like, oh my god. That's probably one of his greatest freakouts in the film.
I like the scene a lot where he's like it's like the first scam they're pulling, and like they open the door and he starts like kind of losing his shit, but like
sees all the pollen out and dust outside, and he's just like, fuck.
And he's like trying to keep it intact. I think that Better Call Saul took a lot of inspiration from this with like the Chuck McGill character.
Yeah.
Like how they kind of show his agoraphobia.
Yeah.
So, it just reminded me of it.
Another thing to kind of recognize is with the agoraphobia, you can see it slowly going away through subtle things. Like the first time when he pulls up to see his daughter in the car, right by the park, which kind of creepy. Old man waiting for
that scene was
young
hilarious.
Girl
He was like when he was waving at the girls.
Yeah. But he's smoking all his cigarettes and stuff, and he's got the windows rolled up in the car, right? No windows rolled down. Just he's got to stay inside. He's got to keep the inside. Now, the next time when he does that, which parallels that scene where he goes back to that same park, finds her again, right? His window's rolled down while he's smoking. And it's just small things like that throughout the film. I'm sure there's a lot more of them.
You get less like, but concerned about shoes on the carpet.
It's subtly shown.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's beautiful, and that's great directing right there, that you can actually like kind of feel the development of his character from being completely, off the rails, like crazy, to being mentally stable to a certain extent. Not completely stable, but enough.
I mean, by the end he is, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the point. He's seemingly rebuilding his life without his guilty conscience. Man, this movie was pretty good. Good pick.
I was a little bit unsatisfied with the conversation with his daughter at the end. I'm saying that with air quotes.
Really? I thought it was a great moment.
What would you have liked to get out of that?
I would have liked some conflict. It felt like there was very little conflict, or at least like a little bit more tension. I don't know. It didn't feel as tense as I would have liked it to.
That's fair.
It's just because like that's a serious thing. Like she just ran into this guy that she scammed for $1 million, right? She knows the whole ins and outs of the scam. She knows everybody who was in on it. She might be able to track him down. Like if he was pissed about it, like she should be scared, right? Like this is a person you never want to see again.
She was horrified when she first saw him. And then like he kind of disarms her and basically says, you know what? It was the best thing that ever fucking happened to me, basically. Like, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I like, because when she sees him, she's like, I need to get the fuck out of here right now.
Another thing that they could have done that I think would have been cool is if you circle back to make sure that the person you're scamming isn't scamming you, right? If maybe he had recognized the guy as being like a former scam artist who was with her, like that he's like, had dealings with, and she's scamming this guy, but he kind of warns her off, being like, hey, this person right here, seen him around or something, or like kind of giving her sage advice or sage wisdom about like, hey, don't do this one.
Yeah. But also she said like that was a one-time thing. She didn't like even really like doing it.
She was too good for it to be a one-time thing. She might have gotten worse at the end. And I mean, even from the beginning, when you look back at what she did, she intentionally did things to aggravate his OCD, right? To throw him over the top. Like going into his underwear drawer, like she knew what his tics and what his tells were and what his issues were. And she was trying to get him as off kilter as possible right there.
I love the scene.
She could calm him down.
I love the scene where she like just made a huge mess of his house and and he's like just walking around trying to clean everything up as quickly as possible. He's like, it's disrespectful. Like,
I don't know. I think I disagree with you. I believe her when she said it was a one-time thing.
Yeah, so do I. Because I think she too had a guilty conscience, and
it also gets sort of relieved at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a nice little bow on the movie.
We don't get much about her backstory, but I don't know. You almost get this feeling that they both kind of fulfilled something that they both wanted or needed in their lives, and they're okay with.
I could see it being the last thing that she did, but I don't think it was a one-time thing. Like, she at least had some experience beforehand with cons. Like, she seemed too experienced to begin with, right?
I mean,
fair.
I'm sure she was being instructed by, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's that important.
Yeah.
I believe that she truly has walked away at the end.
The point is, they both had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point is they both, this little conversation is a moment of closure for both of them. And I enjoyed it. I really like the music in this movie. I can't understate that.
Yeah, no,
You know
it was very good atmospheric music. It didn't seem too overpowering at any point in the movie.
I like how it went with the movie.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't think that.
How would you get Hans Zimmer to do this movie?
It worked.
He's good at his job.
Okay.
Not everything needs to be.
Wait, really quick. You know what this movie also reminds me of, and I think you're the only one who's seen it here. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Punch Drunk Love.
I've never seen Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, I figure you would have. Just in the sense that they're both movies with neurotic main characters who have like frequent like meltdowns and meltdowns where like music gets more and more intense as like they're happening. Just kind of reminded me a little bit of Christopher Nolan's Matchstick Men. You're talking about cons. You create the world of the daughter.
Inception is fucking Nolan's Matchstick Men.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Excited for the Odyssey?
No.
I am.
What's that?
Nolan's next movie is The Odyssey.
He's still making movies? I thought that he gave that up so that his son and his wife could do that.
What? Does Nolan even have kids? I don't
Yeah,
know.
Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy.
Jonathan Nolan's brother.
His brother.
Oh, it's his brother?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yes.
his son.
You thought his son wrote fucking The Dark
Memento?
Knight Rises?
I thought his son wrote Memento.
I mean, that
I'm
would
sorry.
honestly make sense.
I didn't know. I don't even know how old Christopher Nolan is, to be honest.
He's probably in his 50s. I don't really know though.
Yeah.
Um,
He's still relatively young. He started making movies young,
yeah.
which is cool.
Okay, sorry that I got that wrong.
Jonathan
All right, we're
Nolan's writing Inception. His son.
Why are we talking about Inception so much?
His son made Westworld.
That's what I thought. I literally
he
thought
did.
that his son made
But it's not his
Westworld.
son.
Yeah.
His son wrote
Damn.
Memento.
His son's probably like 15.
Oh, wait, really? I thought that Christopher
don't
Nolan
know.
was like 60 something right now.
I think he's in his 50s, but I don't really know. Jason, confirm the
I'll
facts.
look it up.
Does he have kids? How old are they? Do they make movies? These are the questions we need to know.
Chris. You guys can keep talking while
Okay.
I do this.
Yeah. So, was there anything that stood out to you in this film in terms of like filmmaking things that they did that
He's 54.
was done different? Really? That's young.
Yeah.
Say that again, Miles.
Was there any things that they did in this film that you hadn't seen before in other films, like interesting shots or effects that they used, or just
Not
like the way
particularly.
that things were framed? Maybe, I don't know.
Not really. Not
No.
in my opinion, at least.
No, I don't think there's anything new, but there doesn't necessarily have to be something new in a movie for me to enjoy it. I think it's just like Ridley Scott was a very experienced director at this point, and he used all the tricks of the trade to make a fucking good movie.
Hey, that works. I mean, it was a very character-driven story,
Yeah.
but it's usually like when you do think of Ridley Scott, you think about the special effects,
Yes.
right? And you think about the very unique styles of filmmaking that he brought. And he was a very inventive filmmaker. So it's, I don't know, nice to see a more down-to-earth movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better than Hasaguchi.
Did he do that one too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Ridley Scott directs like
You need to
8
look up his filmography.
He's directed-
It's
he
a
directs-
wild
He
ride.
directs like 8 movies a year. He does a lot.
Man.
Do you guys want to get into final thoughts, or do we have?
Yeah, let's get into final thoughts. I guess this is a little bit of a shorter episode this week, and then we can talk about what we watched this week.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fine. Let's do that.
Jason, you go first.
Yeah, I love this movie. I watched it for the first time basically when it came out, and I fucking loved it. I was 11 years old when it came out.
I feel like this is not a movie for 11-year-olds.
Yeah, I don't know. Something spoke to me about it, and it was one of those that like I rented probably 4 or 5 times from Blockbuster, and yeah, it's always stuck with me. I haven't watched it in like 15 years, and like, but still, it's one of those where I just knew it was still going to be good. You know, sometimes a movie you watched when you were younger it doesn't hit as hard when you're older, but I just knew this is just a solid movie all the way throughout. So yeah, I really enjoyed rewatching it. It was a good time.
Miles?
Yeah, first time watcher on this movie. I don't know. It's not the greatest movie ever. I thought that it was a very interesting premise. The characters were done very well. Like I said earlier, this is probably like my favorite type of Nicolas Cage performance, where you do get to see, you know, a more subdued Nicolas Cage, but he does get those like heights, you know, and he's not 100% crazy eyed all the time.
Yeah.
It's, I think that it makes his crazy performances stand out more. So overall, really good movie. Confusing, definitely worth a second watch, I think. I probably will rewatch this in like a year.
What about a third?
You know, I'll jump off that bridge when I come to it. Yeah. So I give it 3 stars out of X. X can be whatever you want.
That typically means 10.
Okay. Well, I was talking about like the mathematical X. Like, just make it out of whatever you want. It's 3 stars out of something.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I guess my only real complaint is that we all knew there was going to be a twist. Like,
yeah, I think that's a product of the time.
It's a product of the time, and
Every movie in 2003 had a fucking twist.
and like the genre too. Like con men movies, you know,
They
it's
have
not-
to. That's
they-
like part of
yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, where's the con within the con? Where's like the secret thing that
You
they've been
create
hinting
the
at the
world
whole
of the
time?
con.
Yeah.
You put the con into that con, and then you con them out of their $1 million.
That's the synopsis of every single con man movie.
Now, I do have one other complaint, but it's like the definition of a nitpick, but I do want to bring it up because when the fuck else are we going to be talking about this? It bothered me that like he smoked so many cigarettes, because for a man who's so worried about his house being clean, there has to be ash everywhere. Like, you know, that shit's getting everywhere. I'm sure he cleans it. I saw you about to say it, but like, I don't know. I just feel like a guy so particular about everything, it would bother him, but whatever, that really doesn't matter. It's a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I'm sure I'll watch it again at some point in my life. You guys want to get into what we've been watching?
Yeah.
Miles, you start.
So to start off, right now I just started the TV show Barry.
Fantastic. How
Hell
far
yeah.
are you in?
5 episodes.
Nice. They're like what, 6-episode seasons or something? They're not too long.
I don't know. I
memory
literally
serves
just
right.
put it on.
I think they're 8 episodes, maybe 6. But yeah, it's a short series. You'll get through it quickly.
You'll probably
at
be
the
done
rate
by
you
the
watch
next time I
shows.
see you.
Yeah, no, I'll probably get through it. Unfortunately, quick.
You'll probably be done with it by the next time I see you.
Yeah.
We live next door.
What do you think of it so far? I loved Barry. I thought it was great.
So I had considered watching it before, but I had like seen the promos, and Bill Hader, he's a great comedian, but to me, sometimes his acting is a little bit slow for me. I don't know if slow is the right word. It's just like I get bored by his acting.
Really?
sometimes.
I thought
but
he was
I found
great.
I found this like very funny. Well, he's just so deadpan in his presentation, where some things it's great, but I don't know. I hadn't wanted to get into this show because of that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I finally did. I'm glad I did. It's been something I was like, okay, yeah, I should finally watch this. So yeah, it's been going good with that. And then I also watched the new Tim Allen TV show. The
I heard
first
that was
like
really
2 episodes
bad.
of it. Yes, really bad. If you liked Last Man Standing and Two Broke Girls both, you will like this show. But I don't think that that's really an intersecting group of people right there necessarily.
I did not like either of those shows, so I don't think.
Well,
Which
you
one's
have
Two Broke
taste.
Girls? Is
That's the one about the.
That's not
the
what's her
wait,
name?
It's
Zoe
Kat
Deschanel?
Dennings.
Kat
No.
Dennings.
No, that's
and,
New Girl. New Girl's good.
Yeah, New Girl's good. I like New Girl, which I finished watching New Girl, which is why I
feel like
was on Hulu.
I haven't really watched any of these shows, but I feel like New Girl, Two Broke Girls, and what's the bee that
Totally
lives in
different.
apartment 23 or whatever?
Totally
I don't know
different
what it
shows.
is.
All of those are different
Like
shows.
in my head, they're all the Zoe Deschanel show with the guy who voices Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movie.
No, that's just New Girl,
Yeah.
and it's probably because that's the best one of the three.
Which one's Two Broke Girls?
It's like a
It's about the two
Laugh track
waitresses that are like,
sitcom.
yeah, it's a laugh track sitcom about two waitresses at a very poor diner run by Asian dude that is short and very weird. The guy who works like in the kitchen is like a Russian dude. Kind of funny, but yeah, it's canned laugh sitcom, just like I don't know, some of those old school ones. I'm not a big fan of the canned laughter that they do for these sitcoms, but you get over it. I don't know. If you're an old divorced dad who likes cars, you'll like this new Tim Allen show. But
yeah. I think he's
Yeah.
trying to get back to his roots and do like the
Home
handyman
Improvement.
kind of.
well, this after Last Man Standing got
Character.
canceled, which actually I kind of enjoyed Last Man Standing.
I don't even know what that is.
It was about Tim Allen, but his daughter
He
was
lived with a
super
bunch of
liberal.
girls.
Yeah, who were all super liberal. Well, he was conservative, but he ran I don't know, like a Bass Pro Shop, basically. And
Is the Santa Claus show still on?
the Santa
I
Claus
don't
show?
know if
Was
that's
that
still
like
going.
a show?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
made a
they made a
fucking
show.
show.
Really?
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
think
called
it-
Santa Clauses or something, right?
Yeah. God, why am I bringing up fucking Tim Allen?
Well,
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
well, as fascinating as that is, Miles. Jason,
Sorry.
did you
Yeah.
did you watch anything this week?
Yes, I started 2 shows this week.
Oh my god.
One is, both are from the 90s. One is Xena the Warrior Princess.
Cool.
I fucking loved that show when I was a kid. And
Really
I was
want to
like,
watch it.
Does it hold up?
I mean, I like it for different reasons now. Like it's just batshit insane. That
it
show
worth
is just
watching,
nuts.
I need new stuff to watch. I'm running
If-
out of like content, and I can't just rewatch Community 100 times.
I'm not gonna call this show good. Okay.
It's okay. I don't like good shows anyways. I like
It's-
trash.
Okay.
Is it trash?
It's very fun.
Okay, so trash.
I personally wouldn't call it trash. I think it
Got a
served
very
its
big
purpose.
fan base.
Served its purpose when it aired, and now it has a cult following and people love it. But it is like very low budget and really goofy. But it's fun.
Mhm.
And also, I started. By the way, rest in peace, David Lynch.
R.I.P. to a great.
I started Twin Peaks the night before he died.
That was crazy because I remember
Yeah.
we were talking because I walked in to your room and you were watching Twin Peaks and I was like, oh, David Lynch. And we were like having a David Lynch discussion. The next day he's dead. And I was like, that's crazy that
Yeah.
we're just like having such a lengthy discussion on him. R.I.P. One of the greatest filmmakers of our time, honestly.
Yeah, no. He's very good at mixing beauty with absurdity, and that's like what I'm really like dialing in on with Twin Peaks. I'm fucking loving it. I think it's great. It's so out there and again, very goofy. I am enjoying it.
Does it get
I'm halfway
weirder?
through season 1.
Does it get weirder as season 1 goes on? Because I remember like my
Season or episode 3 is where like it's the first like big like okay, this is David Lynch,
I tried to watch it and I like the soundtrack a lot and I like
Dude, the music is so fucking good.
and I like the atmosphere, if that makes sense, a lot.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get super into it because I wanted it to be more weird. I think I got to the episode where there's like a little person who's like speaking backwards or something, and I was like, okay, now we're
Yeah.
talking. But then I stopped watching for some reason.
Yeah, that's episode 3.
okay.
That's where that's the first like glimpse. I mean, like it has a lot of obviously
Surrealism.
Yeah, like the characters are just, there's that one cop who's just like crying all the time, who's just like, you feel bad for him, but it's also just like weird and out of place. And everyone's just kind of just off a little bit,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling it gets pretty wild.
I'll give it another try.
I've only seen 4 episodes, so but I'm excited to continue. Yeah.
Oh, can I mention? I also watched the Catch-22 miniseries this week.
Okay.
Which
Is that new or old?
2019. Yeah, it had Dr. House in it from the. What's his name?
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie was in it. He was pretty funny. It also had, I think it was Brad Pitt who was in it, or was it George Clooney? Same guy, right?
I think it was probably George Clooney. That would be my guess.
Yeah. I have to look it up. But yeah, that was a good miniseries. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, so it's very different than the book just because they kind of structured it to have like stuff occur in a different order. But yeah.
Well, I finally watched Nosferatu. I've been trying to for a couple weeks, but I've just been kind of busy. Should we just try to do it without spoilers because it's so new?
Yeah.
Miles, you have not seen that, right?
I don't care
Why?
about
It's a horror
spoilers.
I'm not
Movie.
care. I don't care about spoiling it for you. I don't want to spoil it to our audience.
For our audience. Yeah, that is true.
I know you don't give a shit.
There's a mic in front of you for a reason, Miles.
Well, I really liked it. It is my least favorite Robert Eggers movie. Not that that's saying much because all
I
of his
agree.
movies are great, but I loved the tone. I think that was what I liked most about it. You described it very well. How did you describe it? You said it's like very.
It's super over dramatic.
It's very over dramatic, but also at the same time, like, the shit that's going on the screen is very, very serious. It just creates this tone. Like I found a lot of it to be very funny, and I think that's intentional. Like there's a lot of parts that are just kind of funny in it. Like you said, the first scene with Nosferatu, right? You said that you thought that was quite humorous. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a great tone. It was a really good time. I'm in my older age, I've become so like, when I see a movie that like cracks the 2-hour mark. It was paced very well. Like it did not feel like a 2.5-hour movie to me at all. Like it felt very quick. I liked the monster design of Nosferatu, but I don't think it competes with the OG.
I agree with that as well. I mean, Nosferatu he has that look, right? That's like what's synonymous with him is the look of Nosferatu. And then there's always like different interpretations of Dracula.
So was he more Dracula-like than a Nosferatu?
Which is what I'm saying. Like, why not just make a Dracula movie?
Which is what I was worried about with this movie, to be honest. It's like, okay, if you're going to call it Nosferatu and you're going to go with the Nosferatu story, right? Well, you really got to stick heavily with the source material.
I mean, it
unfortunately
does, aside from that, it's very much
okay.
It's a full blown remake. Of
well, that's
1922.
Good, yeah.
We're just talking about the physical creature design, which I did like, and it still is, Nosferatu-y.
It works for the movie.
Yeah.
I think he looked incredible, but it just doesn't feel like Nosferatu to me. That's all.
Well, I really liked it. Lily Rose Depp. That might. I saw it late, but that might be one of my favorite performances of 2024. I think if I had seen that before we had done our recording episode, I would have brought that up. She was really good, really, really batshit insane, really batshit insane performance. So a very strong opener for me to see her first in that. She did fucking killed it. She should get nominated for Best Actress.
Not gonna happen.
She won't, but she should. Well, is that it? That was a short episode.
I mean, not that short. Really, like 40-ish minutes. Yeah.
Well, does anybody else have anything?
Nope. But
Miles.
Pick a movie.
Yeah, we do this weekly.
Yeah, I should probably pick a movie.
What do you want to watch?
Well, my original choice got vetoed on, so
Wait, what was it?
I'm not gonna say. I suggested it earlier, and Blake was like, "No, we can't do that movie." It's okay. So I'm gonna choose The Warriors.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Wasn't that going to be your choice anyways? You've been talking about that for you've been talking about the Warriors since 2021 when we started the podcast.
I know, it's on my list. It's on my list of movies that I want to talk about.
Another classic that I've never seen. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it was weird this month. Like, I was actually kind of, I joke when I say I had suggested a different movie as a joke, but it was too political for Blake. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know.
But
yeah, I don't want to watch that movie.
it's okay. I didn't really want to watch it either. But I was thinking about either doing that or Stalker.
The Tarkovsky film.
By Tarkovsky. But we've already done one foreign film this month, so
we can do two. Who cares?
I mean,
I'm fine
I'll
with the
do
Warriors,
it in the future.
Dude. I want to
yeah.
watch that movie again.
And plus, every time I bring up the Tarkovsky movie, you're like, "Oh, it's 2.5 hours."
I think it's like 3.5 hours. Firstly, it's a long movie.
Does it get longer every time we talk about it? Do you think?
By the time the Blu-ray disc enters the Blu-ray player, it's going to be like a fucking 13-hour film.
Oh, jeez.
Cool.
Have you seen The Warriors, Blake?
No, I said that.
It's a great movie.
I'm very excited. That's a movie that a lot of people seem to really like.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. Watch The Warriors if you want to keep up, and we will have a discussion on it next week. Thank you for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good Halloween season.
It's not Halloween season anymore. Please don't let it be Halloween season for like another 10 months.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.